Alright, and welcome back to Pacific Fisherman Shipyard, where we've got the Virginia 5 up out of the water. Yes, it is very dark outside. That's because it's very early. The shipyard starts work at 6 a.m. and because it is January here in Seattle, that means sunrise is still a couple hours off. So today we're going to be watching the carpenters start their teardown. The Virginia 5 here is a wooden vessel, and one of the enemies of wooden vessels is, of course, rot. Rot is caused when the wood gets wet, when moisture gets into it and cannot dry out. Then fungus gets a hold and starts decomposing the wood. Given that the Virginia 5 is here in the Pacific Northwest, which is notoriously damp for most of the year, that means that rot is a constant battle for any wooden boats kept in the water here in Seattle. There are a few ways to try and prevent it, such as making sure everything stays dry, so making sure that water doesn't pool anywhere on the ship, as well as fresh coats of paint and varnish, which helps seals the wood, and regular baths of salt water, because salt will help preserve the wood and kill any fungus inside. But over time, rot is pretty much inevitable in an old wooden boat, and when rot sets in, the only real thing you can do about it is tear it all out and replace it with fresh wood. So that's what we're here to do today. It can be a little disturbing to watch people tear into an old wooden boat and start destroying it, but the faster we get out all of the bad wood, the sooner that it can be replaced with good fresh wood. We came into the yard with a few ideas of what needed to be worked on, but one of the things about rot is that the full extent of it is almost never visible from the surface, so you never really have an idea of the true extent of the problem until you actually start tearing into it and see what is underneath the exterior. So, we're going to watch the shipwrights start tearing things apart and see what they find.
Surgery.
Yeah, boat surgery.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Okay. I better dive in. Oh.
Step back a little bit and hold my breath. Gross.
It's so wet. Very wet.
Yeah. Soft and mushy.
bolts coming
We've
down.
got some rot in these deck planks, and that means probably having to replace at least the back end of them. And that means removing, of course, the steering hydraulics, which is going to be great.
And then, you know, this guy.
Oh, this piece here? Yeah, well, that's pretty soft.
Here and there, if you start poking around.
Yeah, my fingers.
Presses the backer, but
yeah, my finger's going all the way in here.
Once these get exposed, it's probably going to be worse under there.
Yeah, probably going to have to take this whole thing off, at least to get into these bits. Oh, that's super squishy. Is it as bad over? It doesn't seem as bad over here. Oh no, that's pretty soft. Gross. Oh yeah, fingers are going right in here.
I'm gonna go outside.
I can see water squishing out when I poke my finger in there.
Gushing stuff.
Yeah, no, gushing is not good. Water gushing out is bad.
I have a wrench here. Really good on the outside.
Nice and soft and wet on the inside?
Well, it was looking really solid out there, but boy, it even smells bad.
Yeah. I think on the inside here is where all the water, you know, collects.
It was real wet.
Yeah. I don't think you're getting that out with the crowbar.
And the screws coming through.
Alright, so more tear out work being done back here. This piece of wood is getting removed all the way to its scarf. And a scarf is a place where two pieces of wood join at this angle. It is often easier to remove the entirety of a piece of wood instead of just a portion of it, because it makes fitting in a replacement easier and also looks better. So this is a fairly short piece of wood, so taking it all the way back to its scarf is not a huge increase in work. And it'll look nicer once the new piece is fitted in, because then there won't be a big seam between old and new. Of course, that means very carefully carving around the scarf so as not to damage the good wood that you were trying to save, and to ensure that the new piece of wood that replaces this one will fit in nice and neatly. So that is a good job there, carving right in around this scarf. Let's see here on the inside too. Something else being worked on during this haul out is this part of the ship here. This is called a rub rail or a guard. Originally, the Virginia 5 and ships like her did not use fenders. So the guard here protected the ship's hull from rubbing against docks during waves or in a swell, or also if the ship had kind of a hard landing. So in the modern day, we do use fenders with the Virginia 5, but the rub rail still does take some abuse over the course of the year. And of course, all of the ship's scuppers empty on top of the rub rail, so it also gets very wet over the course of the year. So the rub rail does have to be replaced periodically, or sections of it do. The rub rail is wood with this piece of steel bolted to the outside for protection. And a chunk of the starboard side rub rail is scheduled to be replaced during this haul out. So let's rip into it. Almost got it. Alright, so the destruction is still ongoing to the rub rail, but we are really starting to reach the core of it here. Getting a little peek inside of the ship now. Once all of this bad wood is out of here, then the installation of the new rub rail will begin. So tune in next time to see what else the shipwrights are going to be ripping apart, and hopefully start installing the new stuff. Right? Of course, doing all of this work to the Virginia 5 can get quite expensive. The Steamer Virginia 5 Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the preservation and operation of the SS Virginia 5, which is one of very few wooden, propeller-driven passenger steamships that is still operating pretty much anywhere. So we do rely a lot on donations as well as grants. Viewers of the channel can help the work being done here by going to our website, virginiav.org, and donating. We really do depend on fans of historic vessels and of steam to help us keep steaming into the future. Right? Thank you, and be sure to tune in next time.